Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Agents in the Trenches. And this is a place in a space where we talk about all things real estate related. And every week we have a guest to come on in and talk about something valuable when it comes to business, life, mindset, whatever the case may be. And I'm super excited because today's guest is someone very special, and she's going to be coming on here really shortly to talk about her experience in the Tony Robbins Unleash the Power Within event. But before we get started, my name is Talia Miranda. I'm the Business Development Director with Q International Experts, and I'm sure you've seen me on here before. So I'm super excited to be here and to have this conversation because I think everyone's going to get something out of it, especially myself as well. So without further ado, let's bring on the special guest, Coach Lucy Q.
Hello. It's so good to be here. I was just telling my Instagram audience that I am like nervous because I don't know exactly what you're going to be asking me. But I'm very happy to be here. Thank you for the invitation.
Of course, Lucy. So you just finished up the Tony Robbins Unleash the Power Within event, right? And I know you've taken his events before, you've taken his trainings before, and this is what, your third time?
This is my third experience this year in 1 year with Tony Robbins, and it's been incredible, and it gets more and more incredible, and not so much because of the event, but because of what is happening within me that I had never experienced.
Okay, so let's talk a little bit about that. We all hear, right? I've never been to a Tony Robbins event, but I hear so many good things about how literally you walk in as one person or you tune in as one person, and then when you're done and you tune out as someone completely different, right? So let's talk about that and your experience firsthand on what it's like to go in and what it's like to come out.
So let me give you a little bit of the background. So I actually came across Tony Robbins in the year 2000 when I decided to, when I decided to just reach for the stars in real estate, right? And I was a rookie and I had no idea what I was doing and I had no idea what I was going to do. And all I knew was that I just wanted to make it in real estate. That's all I wanted to do. I wanted to make it in real estate. I had no money. I had two little kids. I knew no one in my city. I had moved to Cape Coral, just a few months back. And I was so stressed out, so scared. And I had no idea how I was going to make it. So I came across, I remember that literally I went to Barnes and Noble. And I went into that self-help area. And this is something that a lot of people don't know about me, but I went into the self-help area and I bought 2 cassettes. There was cassettes in the year 2000. And I bought those 2 cassettes and I started listening to him. And then I started, he had these infomercials on TV. So I had watched his infomercials, for those of you that have watched infomercials, I would watch his infomercials, at midnight or something crazy like that. And I remember that back then he was helping one of the biggest tennis players, and then he was talking about all these other people that he was helping. And I said, if these people that are making money need his help, there's something that I can learn from him. So that's how Tony Robbins entered Lucy's world, right? The world of insecurity, the world of lack, the world of brokenness, the world of uncertainty, of someone that had no clue how I was going to make it in real estate. And he's ever since continued to, show up in my world, besides the fact that I have a very high respect for him and what he's accomplished. The man is a performance coach for the last 40 plus years. And he has coached people like Oprah Winfrey, presidents of the United States. I don't want to mention any names, but presidents of the United States, world ministers and world leaders, super high level athletes. And like he says, it doesn't matter how much you have accomplished in life or how little you have accomplished in life. Deep down inside, we all have to face our human factors. And so this year, I took, God gifted me. God gave me the opportunity to really go deep, go wide, and go all in with Tony Robbins. And this is my third experience. And every experience is even more profound because of what it does within me, and the shifts that I'm feeling inside my mind. And even finding myself like, hold on, I don't normally act this way or do this, even though I knew I should, but I don't, but I didn't. So it's been literally this UPW, Unleashing the Power Within, has been transformational.
I love that. And it's amazing, like with your experience, right, and your trajectory to be able to go into events like this and even, continue to just get more information, right? And get and be able to better yourself and continue on that journey of self-discovery and self-growth, right? So let's talk a little bit about that specifically, right? Lucy Quinones, right? Everybody sees Coach CQ, and like you say, the glitz and the glam. But let's take the covers. Let's pull the covers back a little bit. What are some of the things that maybe, because you mentioned you catch yourself in moments where you're like, no, and I've caught you in those moments actually. So let's talk about those moments, right, where you get those thoughts of like, okay, no, that doesn't serve me, right? And how does one, become aware of that, so like that they can stop that thought and replace it with something better, right?
So it's crazy because we all know the things we should not do, but somehow we find ourselves back in that emotional home, which is what I understood at this last experience with Tony Robbins, that it is what it is. It's our emotional home. And it's that space and that place, like I call it, where we go back to being the human that we've been programmed to be, the human that we have convinced ourselves that we are, the human that, we feel inside that we are, the human that we feel comfortable being, right? So whether it's, lashing out in anger or frustration, whether it's complaining about the market and saying, these stupid buyers, they're like, buyers are liars, or whether it's, getting irritated with our kids, or whether it's getting scared because, oh my goodness, I'm down to my last penny and I don't know what I'm going to do. We all have an emotional home, and it comes from repeated patterns. One of the most powerful things that I've learned from Tony Robbins to a deep, 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 deep level is recognizing the patterns that I've been, comfortable repeating for the last X amount of years. I mean, it doesn't matter. It could be 30, it could be 20, it could be 15, it could be all my life. It doesn't matter. And then confronting those patterns. So at UPW on the first day, he spoke about our emotional home. So for a lot of people in the real estate industry, your emotional home is irritation because you don't have enough money. Being irritated, being frustrated, and being scared, right? That you don't have enough money, you're not closing enough deals. What are you going to do? And so what UPW did for me, because obviously I have other emotional spaces that I go into, was, okay, let's identify which ones are those empowering emotional spaces that we tend to go into. And I'm going to tell you right now, the emotional spaces that we go into that empower us, we have to do that on purpose. We have to do that by force. We have to push ourselves to take ourselves into those empowering emotions. So what are some of the empowering emotions that I know that I'm able to generate from within me? Happiness, faith, courage, certainty, hope, fun, belief, enlightenment, elation, laughter, gratitude, gratefulness, appreciation, love, right? But what are the disempowering emotions that I very well know, right? And we all know: fear, doubt, lack, insecurity, past memories. Well, This is what happened to me before. This is what happened to me the last time I wasn't being successful. This is the last time that happened to me when I tried to, you know, grow in that last business or in that last career. Dread, like, oh my God, I'm going to go through this again, or drag or staleness or stagnicity, frustration, irritation, anger, and we need to wake up to the reality that we get to decide what our emotional home is going to be like and what we're going to allow to happen there. And no one escapes. But this is where I found myself having to really confront at this last UPW is, what is my favorite flavor of suffering? Because when we are in a disempowering state, when we are in our head, and see, this is the power behind Unleash the Power Within, is that it's not just the lingo, it's literally getting deep down and understanding that it's not just that, well, you know what, I get mad easily, I get frustrated easily, I fly off, the top of my head easily, or I get depressed and I get down and I get confused and I get stuck easily. No, you have to decide, what are you going to allow to enter your emotional home? And so I had to understand that I too have favorite flavors of suffering. Because when we are fearful, when we're doubtful, when we're complaining about our business, when we're complaining about our bank statements, when we're complaining about our partners, our kids, our home, our relatives, when we're complaining about everything, we're suffering. We are literally suffering. And so he through exercises and through understanding, I awoke to the reality of, I'm not going to suffer anymore. I'm not going to allow myself to suffer. Life is too short to suffer. And we think suffering is like walking around in pain. Well, what about the emotional pain? What about the pain of not having closings? What about the pain of being all alone like an island in your home, working from home, thinking you're going to be productive, when in reality, we were not built to be alone. We were built to be in community. What about the suffering of confusion and not knowing who to ask or who to go to put a deal together or to handle a negotiation? What about the suffering of thinking that we're all that in a bag of chips and not helping anybody else because it's all about me, 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 me? What is our favorite flavor of suffering? And so we went really deep. I mean, I'm talking about 12-hour days of this.
Wow, I love that. And, I think it's true. Well, it's definitely true. What, he was mentioning is that we have those moments more often than not, especially if you're not aware of it. It's just it's like second nature. So I'm curious to kind of like, I don't know if you want to touch on this, or what kind of exercises was he making you guys do for that specific scenario, right? When someone finds themselves in that state of suffering, right? And that emotion that they're feeling. So what is something that someone can do to kind of battle that and come out of the other side?
Just you asking the question gives me chills. Like I literally have chills just
Wow.
you asking me the question, because I lived it. And it was, he gave us a space and a place. And of course, we got to play all that. Listen, when I showed up at UPW, when I showed up at Unleash the Power Within, my mind, my heart, my soul, my body, all of me, I said, I'm going to play all out. I'm going all in. I'm going to play full out. I'm going to participate. So first of all, we have to understand the way that we're built, right? So everything that has to do with our life, our being, our existence has to do with energy. And so when we are in our head, the reason people say we're dead is because our energy is down. Our energy is low. Our energy creates a vibration. So think of our energy as a radio station. Think of our energy as a radio. I'm going to break it down a little bit more. Think about our energy as a radio. So we are a radio receptor, right? So if you think back in your car, You have a radio. Think of the radio as your body. You get to decide what you're going to tune into. So
Wow.
you're in the car and you're in a certain place, and you're driving away from, let's say, your home, you're heading north, and there's going to come a place where your station that you are connected to is going to start getting staticky. Well, we are receptors. Our environment, our atmosphere, the people we hang around with, the conversations we have inside of our head, the conversations we have by the coffee maker at the office, the conversations we have with our colleagues at the office, those low-level players are a station. And we're deciding to play that station. So let's talk a little bit about, because this is Agents in the Trenches, so I want to give it that shift so everybody can understand. Let's talk about a little bit about what is playing on the station where the low-level players are at, when the murmurers, the grumblers, the complainers, those that hang out by the water cooler, those are sitting in their office thinking that they're being productive, but they're really just hanging out because in their mind, they're trying to convince themselves that they're being productive. What is playing in that station? Because you are the radio, you're the receptor, and here you are surrounded by these people who are the station. They're the artists. What do you think is playing in that station? Well, what unleashed the power within and the exercise that I understood we were doing and that we needed to do was, I'm going to take myself to another station. In my mind, in my heart, in my soul, I am the one that controls my radio. I am the radio. I am the receptor. So a lot of energy, a lot of disconnecting, a lot of fun, a lot of getting into state. Talia, have you ever been in a place where maybe it was going for that job? We've all had a job. I remember I would go on job interviews, and what's the first thing you do when you are applying for a job? You put in the application.
Yeah, put in the application, put in the information, your resume, send your resume.
You set the intention, I'm going to go look for a job. So whether it was back in the day, you would pull out the Sunday newspaper, or whether it was, 10 years ago, you would go on Craigslist, or whether it was 5 years ago, you would go on Marketplace, or whether it's today, you go on Indeed. I don't care. It doesn't matter. You set the intention. So I set the intention to find another radio station. And so through a process of exercises, high energy, affirmations, feeling the emotion. So here's how the exercise goes. And you got to experience this to get it, but just to give you an idea. You sent the resume. You said, I want to apply for a job. And now what do they tell you? They tell you, come in for an interview. And now you're supposed to dress up, dress to impress, look sharp. Hopefully you know how to go for an interview. So you take your little portfolio with your little pen and your pad. And, we've all gone through this. They teach us this in high school. Here's how you go for a job interview. Some people miss that class because they show up. Hello, let's not even go there. So before you walk into that interview, you're taking a deep breath. You're sighing. Your heart is beating. Your hands are cold because you're putting yourself in state. And if it's a job that you really, 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 really want, then you're like, I know I could do this. I know I could do this. I know I have what it takes. I know I'm going to impress them. I'm going to walk in there. I'm going to own this interview. I'm going to, I'm just going to step up. I'm going to give it my all. It's the same thing. So he led us through, 45 minutes, an hour of getting in state of, just imagining, recreating our new reality. So one of the stations, because I'm using the radio as an analogy, I'm using the station of hanging around with the complainers and the murmurers and the grumblers and what you're listening to, and everybody's like, oh my God, everything's so hard, everything's so difficult, oh my God, I don't know what to do, oh my God, the bank is calling me, I bounced my checks, oh my God, I have no closings, oh my God, there's no money in the account, oh my God, my bills are due. You're deciding to set your dial on that station. That's your decision. Don't blame the president. Don't blame the economy. Don't blame nobody. It's you. You are making the decision to wake up in the morning and just hang out and play the songs of that AM low frequency, low mindset, low energy, low possibilities, low opportunity station.
Oh
And
my
so
God.
he took us through that exercise, man. And hello, I went FM, baby. I went FM. I went, Sirius XM. Forget about FM. I went Sirius XM. I'm like, I just know, man, there's more in my life that I can do. I get emotional just thinking about it because
Wow.
so many people are going through this low level AM radio station and they're suffering. They're like suffering. And literally, there's people in depression. There's
Mhm.
people depressed. There's people taking medication. So the exercise that we went into, because when you connect with who you really are, you can't help but get emotional. When you connect with the person that God created you to be and the things that potential He put inside of you, and those things that you could do, but you somehow can't find a way to do it, but you suddenly connect with that. Oh my God, that is the real you. And that is what He told us. That is what He told us. This is the real you. So, we could be talking about this forever, but in the last 5 minutes that we have left, what I want to share with you is that um, it's taking yourself to another space and another place, and recognizing that I am not my reality, that I was created for a time such as this, that I have what it takes. I just need to unleash the power within. How He knows what to call it.
Wow.
And that's what I did. And the one thing that I got when I went into that new radio station, when I took myself to that new space and that place, when I unleashed the greatness God put in my DNA, when I allowed myself to go beyond my possibilities into a new reality, was that clarity is power. And there's a lot of people out there in the real estate industry, in the business industry, in the profession. And there's a lot of humans out there that are living in um, confusion and chaos. They're not clear. They don't even know really what they want. They really don't even know what they want. So that's
Wow.
just one of the things. I mean, we could be here forever. I'm going to say bye to my people on Instagram because we're going to be closing out soon. But that was just one of the things.
I mean, I love what you're saying. I think if you can't feel her passion, I don't know, we got something else to talk about because you can tell how passionate you are about this, and that's really moving, because right now, and you've said it, and so many people, like, we need this more than ever, especially what's going on in this market, right? With all the headlines and, the chaos and people, with the doubts and stuff like that does end up radiating to agents, right? To other people, maybe getting in the industry, someone who's
Yes.
new, and maybe they're like excited and ready to take over the world, and then boom, and it's sad because you end up getting it, right? It's contagious, so you end up getting it, and then it radiates off of you, right? So you start talking like them and you start walking like them, and that's like, it's just a huge mess. So now more than ever, Lucy, I think what you're saying is valuable, and we need more of that because this crazy space is, I mean, it's only getting crazier.
And it's going to get tougher. Anthony Robbins took us through Anthony Robbins took us through he took us through an exercise where he showed us how history repeats itself. And we are right now gonna need to get really strong.
Wow.
And I don't want to be a naysayer. If anything, I am the right messenger with the right message for this season. And it's agents, you got to level up. You got to get around strong people that are going to hold you afloat. You have to go and getting around people that are going to give you a hand and sustain you so that you don't drown. Because if you go on YouTube and you listen to people that are experts in the financial field, we are going to be in the best or the worst place that we have seen in the last 20 years. For some, it's going to be the best place because we've been preparing, because we are ready for it, because we've been doing the things and surrounding ourselves with the resources we need to get to where we need to go. But for those that have not prepared, this is your moment. You have to get up and get around people that are going to help you make it through this winter that is coming. So this is going to be the best and the worst moment for a lot of people. And I wish I could stay longer with you, Dali, but I have to go into another meeting. But I just want to acknowledge you and commend you for how much you've grown in the last 2 years and how willing you have been, because I know growth is painful, and that's the problem. People want to get to the top, but when the going gets tough, the weak get going and the tough get going, and you've been part of the tough one. So
Thank you. Well, you always say proximity is power. So being, in proximity with you really has been my anchor. I want to say, so I'm super grateful for you, Lucy. And, you always say when you grow, we grow, I grow, we all grow together, and we're stronger together. So
yes.
I encourage anyone who's listening to this who doesn't have, a tribe of trust, like you say, Lucy,
Yes.
find yourself those people, because now more than ever we do need to lock arms and we do need to make it out together, right?
We
So
do.
yes, I think if you're watching this now, I would love for you to comment #live, or if you're watching this on a replay, drop #replay. Listen to this back if you're just tuning in, because Lucy just dropped some full fire, and she spoke about her experience and what she got in a little bit, because I think you barely scratched the surface, Lucy. This was like what, 3-4 days of you being immersed in this?
It was 4 days. Yeah, 4 days. But here's what I would like you to do. I would like you to just hang out and tell the people a little bit about your experience in my world, in Lucy's world, and what that has done for you as well, because I'm only as good as the people that surround me. I'm only as good as the people that surround me. And I couldn't be more honored to have a running partner like yourself. So I'm going to time out, but I want you to stay here and tell them a little bit about our behind the scenes, which is always it's always so exciting. Thank you so much, Sally, for this.
Thank you so much for joining us and sharing your experience. I really appreciate it, Lucy. I know you gotta go, so we'll talk later.
We'll do it again.
Okay. Hey guys, well, I'm telling you, that was full fire. Like, if you guys didn't get to see the beginning of it, please just rewind back, replay it, because that was completely incredible. But I just want to say, I'm 2 years in the industry, and I got into it when I think things were a little bit easy, but it was starting to get a little bit tough. And when I say proximity is power, it's really true. I honestly feel like I wouldn't have made it this far if it wasn't for Lucy. She has helped me along the way. She basically took me under her wing and, really did provide me the help and the support that I need, right, in those moments where I needed the most. Like, being in a new agent in this industry, especially in this market, there's a lot of things that we don't know, and what you don't know can hurt you. It really can. I've had moments where I'm like so grateful, and I'm like, shoot, like if I didn't have Lucy to be able to send a text message or give her a quick call and say, hey, like, what do I do in this situation? There was more moments than not that I could have, potentially like lost a client or lost a deal. And so, there's just so many great things about having someone like Lucy, a mentor or a coach, to be able to guide you, help you when you need it the most. So, I encourage everyone. I made a video the other day. I made a reel, and I said that I believe in the power of mentorship, because I've lived it, right? I can be here all day talking about experiences that I've had where, Lucy has come in and, was able to save it, whether it was a for sale by owner, right? Or a buyer, or there might have been something that, I screwed up on a contract or something like that, and she was able to help me. So, I'm so grateful It hasn't been an easy ride, let me tell you. Like, this has been the craziest experience of my life. And there has been, I'm not gonna lie to you, there's been several times where I did want to throw in the towel. And, it was because of my limiting beliefs. I've even said this before to, privately with her. It's like, maybe I'm not built for this. And she didn't even like entertain that thought, and she kept talking about other things, and she was like, no, like, we're not having those thoughts here, not today, because you are built for this. And she said that right before she left. It's like, we have to go through experiences to build up our skin to be able to face the weather, right? Because this is winter. Like, things are not a walk on easy streets. So I just want to say, like, it's been an incredible experience. I'm definitely not the person that I was 2 years ago. I've learned and I've grown so much, and it's been all because of being able to, have the Lucy calls the stick-to-itiveness, right? You have to stick to it, and I've definitely been the one that I've just been like, okay, just gotta do it, gotta continue, and I can't quit, I can't give up, because there's so much that I want to pursue, and there's so many goals that I have for myself, for my family, and every time that the going gets tough, if you don't have someone to be able to help you, right, get out of that funk, that can't be the thing that can just makes you put in a towel, right? Or throw in the towel. So I just want to say, like, guys, I'm speaking from experience. Like, you do want to have somebody in your corner, someone to help you and guide you. And if you don't, reach out to us, because we have so many resources and programs and things that we've put together to help agents be able to strive in this market, right? It's all about production and producing and mentorship and guidance and training, and we have all of that. So I just want to say, like, if there's anything that we can do to help you, like, don't be shy. Like, we won't bite, I promise. Maybe Lucy might nibble a little bit, but it's gonna be for your own good, trust me. But yeah, I just want to say thank you so much for you guys tuning in. I really hope you guys got something of value from this conversation with Lucy, and we might have some amazing news coming pretty soon. But for that, I'm just going to end it here. I hope you guys have an amazing rest of your day, and reach out to us if there's anything that we can do to help you. Have a great one.